What's up guys, it's Joseph, and this is going to be a little review video on this build that I made. And by build, I mean that I bought this as a complete slide and this as a complete frame, both from primaryarms.com. The SCT frame was $52.99 and the Precision Defense slide with the RMR cut and a threaded barrel was $129.99. So this build has actually been giving me issues from the start. I couldn't initially get this slide onto this frame, and I found there were two issues going on. The first issue was that the back plate was running into the trigger housing, and the trigger housing used to be square. I made this bevel here, so from this angle you can see I cut this bevel here with a utility knife. So without that bevel, what was going on was the slide was simply just running into the housing. Once it was able to go past the trigger housing, there was another stop. And I found out that's because the bottom of the barrel is running into the slide lock here. To me, it seems that the slot is way too high. To get it on, you have to pull the slide lock down on both sides, and then the slide will go on. The SCT frame also has trouble with the PSA dagger slide running into the barrel, and that's with a Silencer Co. threaded barrel. Then today, I got to take this to the range to try it out, and I ran into more issues. So I'll go ahead and start with the frames, and then I'll go into the issues of the slide. There are a couple things to like about the SCT frame. For example, the texture is really good, and it goes all the way up to the top of the frame. So when you squeeze together at the top, you get your hand really gripped into there. It has the thumb gas pedal, so that's nice. It has multiple slots in the pick rail on the front, and I do like the flat back instead of having a hump back there. Where SCT really messed up on this frame is in the beaver tail. You can see this hard defined edge right here. So that was also on this side. And so when I got a normal high grip, that edge would, push into the bone and be very uncomfortable even just dry firing. So before I even went to the range today, I took a heat gun, got it a little soft, used a utility knife, and got rid of that edge, so this was nice and rounded here. And then the other issue with the beaver tail, you can see when I turn the gun this way, you can see the slide is exposed. So the beaver tail gets very narrow here. Like, let's compare that to a PSA dagger frame where it stays broad like the whole length, and you cannot see the slide from the bottom. I didn't realize it was going to do this, but with a high aggressive grip, I got some slide bite. You can see that right there. And the last little thing that I don't really mind for a budget frame is that the trigger is 6.5 pounds, so pretty heavy. You're about to see some point of view footage of me using the SCT frame with this PSA dagger slide, and I'll talk about why later. SCT frame. Let's go for a full mag. So moving on to the Precision Defense slide, it gave me nothing but issues. In the first magazine, tons of failures to go to battery. So if you don't know what that means, it means after a round was shot, it wouldn't close all the way. So it'd be, I would have to hit the back in order to make it completely go into battery. And that could be for two reasons. So first thing I noticed when I got the slide onto the frame is how light the recoil spring assembly is. So that's very light compared to on a dagger, it's a bit heavier. So with the lighter recoil spring, that means a lot less force to get the slide into battery. The second thing coming into play in those failures to go to battery, I think, is this hard edge in the barrel feed ramp. So this, you can actually see like brass has been rubbing off on that hard, sharp edge compared to this is the Silencer Co. barrel, and that's a nice beveled or chamfered edge right here, polished edge, so that brass can slide past there easily. So I think that hard edge makes for rougher feeding. And here's a quick look at the recoil spring in the Precision Defense. That is a polymer rod, while the PSA uses a metal rod. So on top of those failures to feed, I was getting light primer strikes with this AAC 115 grain, and this has not given me any issues in my other pistols. And then checking out the top of the slide, these are polymer sights. And the RMR cut does not have the normal recoil posts that you would find that go into the holes in the bottom of an RMR style red dot. So both of these, have these post holes, but the posts are not there. And the slide comes with a polymer filler plate. So that's about it for the slide. Initially I put this SRO to test the accuracy of the barrel, but at this point I think I'm just going to try to return this to primary arms. So any comments or questions, you can leave those down below so I can get back to you. I do have a ton of reviews and tutorials planned, like stuff I've added to this recover setup. So go ahead and like, subscribe, and share, and I'll talk to you guys later.